This is John Walton, and you're listening to the Power Play Point podcast with the Blue Liner on points and Anna Knox. Here's Wilson, and on the right circle, he scores!
Rebound loose, wild scramble in front, score! Ovechkin with a buzzer beater! It'll count!
And the hat trick tonight, number 21,
Hello, welcome everybody to the Power Play Point podcast. Yes, it is 9 o'clock as I'm doing this. 9 o'clock, not on a Saturday, but on a Tuesday, New Year's Eve. Happy end of 2024 to you peoples. I shouldn't say that. I'm in a bit of a sour mood, as you'll come to find out, but I seem to be the only one who's down on the Caps right now. Well, not down, but I'm seeing stuff that I don't like. I'm going to get into that here in a second, but all right, let's get some out of the way first. Happy New Year's Eve, Happy New Year to everybody listening. I'm going to put this out as fast as I can. I'm going to do everything rapid fire. So if you're not awake and you're not listening to this, then just not. Anyway. Don't drink and drive, obviously. Please don't drink and drive. If you're going to drink, don't drive. And if you're going to drive, don't drink. It's that simple. It really is, okay? As if losing Johnny and Matt Gaudreau weren't bad enough, okay? Don't force another one to lose a loved one out of their lives, okay? I cannot be any more serious than this. I realize I'm just riffing right now, but I'm dead serious about this. Don't frickin' drink and drive tonight. Okay, please. Okay, I'm going to have a loved one on the road. At the time, she's going to be working late. So fucking please don't drink and drive if you're in the Laurel area, Laurel to Glen Burnie corridor. Don't fucking drink and drive, please. Okay. So let's just get into it. Yes, I'm doing this solo, as I promised a few days ago. I got to apologize. I've been under the weather a little bit, and I've had some crap to take care of. So, there has been that. But I'm here. It's early Tuesday morning, New Year's Eve, as I said, and we're going to be doing this. So let's just go for it. Let's just dive in. I'm going to do a rapid fire recap of all of the games since last Sunday. But I'm going to point out something first. This December has easily been the worst Caps month. So just to preface everything. But let's briefly go over the games since we last left you. So last Sunday, the 22nd, LA Kings, 3-1 victory. This easily the best game of the week for the Caps, I thought. They played lockdown hockey. They out-kinged the Kings, who are known to play a very defensive style. Alexei Protas got them started, 10-20, his 13th. Dubois and McMichael. Dubois, great pass on this one. Fiala ties it up, second period, 4-10. Caps get a power play. Vrana gets his sixth. Vrana's excelling on the power play. I hope they leave him on I don't know if it's the 1 or 2 unit, but I think it's a 2 unit, because Dubois got the assist on this one as well, 14-18. Caps would take the lead and keep it for good for this game. This would be the game winner, and then Protas ices it with the empty netter at 19:06. So obviously he would go on to be one of the 3 stars of the game. Logan Thompson, another stellar performance in net, 96% save percentage, only let in the 1 goal by Fiala. Again, pretty good game. Low event game. Caps, Spencer mentioned this, I'm sure. Caps are very, very good when they keep it low event. It's not as if they can't play defense, okay? But there's a feature of a team that they sometimes can't cope with. I'm going to mention that later on. but that's where they seem to be. Anyway, so that was this game, and then they would stop me if you've heard this before. Yet another back-to-back. The third one. This this would be the third one this month. 4 in 1 month. Oh man, don't get me started on the scheduling. It's something else I'll get to in a minute. But let's get through the game first. So Boston up to Boston, merry old Boston. 22 hours or such later at the TD Garden, at the Tedious Garden. Okay, Justin Brazeau, which sounds like a French underwear. Bruins get a power play. Geeky and Lorelei Gilmore on the assists for that one. End of period goal. You never want to give up those. They always set the tone. I'm about 70% right on this in that it ends up deciding the game. Well, this set the tone at least. Vrana again, stop me if you heard this before, on the power play, his 7th, sending Dubois again on the assist. I think maybe they ought to give Vrana a shot at being on a line with Dubois. Those two seem to mesh pretty well. Of course, that's only with the man advantage, and then if you've got the man advantage, obviously you can utilize your speed, which Vrana still has, and he can bury it. So I might be talking out the side of my orifice there, so meh. We'll see. But tie game here. Caps still look good. Caps actually didn't play a bad game until about the third period when everything went to crap. 3 goals in the space of just about 5 minutes, just a couple 3 ticks under 5 minutes. Lindholm, Marchand, and Coyle, 13:41. Coyle, Marchand, again, McAvoy, 15:59, and Marchand to ice it with the empty netter at 18:38. So, yeah, key stat here, obviously, the 11 shots on goal for the Caps. 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 2 ones next to each other. Yeah, you're not going to win a whole lot of games. You're also not going to win a whole lot of games if you're only winning 1 out of 3 faceoffs, which is what they did for this game. Power play, except for Vrana showing up, was nothing to write home about. 1 out of 3 still good, but it had to be better in this game. Caps they had a 5-minute major for Faravari getting boarded, and no shots on goal. I don't need to go on a rant about that. I think that right there speaks for itself. So I'm not going to go ranting about that because it was, 5-minute power play, all you can eat. You don't get a shot on goal. They had shots, they just couldn't get them on goal. End of story. Caps did not get more than 4 shots in any period. Yes, that includes the 5-minute power play. So point to discuss later. What do you do? What do you do when the offense isn't there? Sometimes the offense isn't going to be there. Now, Blake Allen and I discussed this a few episodes back. What do you do? Because sometimes it does amount to puck luck. When the puck doesn't want to go in the net, no matter how hard you try, it's not going to go in the net. What do you do? What do you do? You play with a little more consistency. That's what you do, or you try to anyway, but it hasn't been there. So thus ended that game. So Caps go on the holiday break, come back. Oh, guess who's back along with the team in Toronto? It's Ovi. We'll get to him in a second. But to run down the game, Pajama Boy John Tavares, his 18th. Benoit and is this right? Yeah, Max Pacioretty got an assist on this goal. Yeah, I don't believe it either. But good deflection by Tavares to tap it in for the early lead. Thompson didn't have a chance, but this was probably, I don't think both goals. I don't think Thompson really had a chance on this one. Well, otherwise he was great. Now, not to downplay Charlie. I don't think going backwards a little bit, I don't think he looked bad either. Just the one goal towards the end, I think Coyle's goal, that was the one I think he would like to have back, but he didn't look too bad either. It's going to feed into my point. Trust me, I'm coming to it. I am. I promise. Mangiapane, great effort here off a pass by LaPierre to tie it at 4:46, and then Caps would grab the lead 4 minutes later at 8:54. Jacob Chychrun, his 10th. Van Riemsdyk and Radish on the assist there, and then comes the freight train goal. Sorry, hockey troll. I promised myself I wouldn't do this, but I don't think anybody could have described it any better. So Ovi on the back check. This is how much legs he had in this game. That's how much he was chomping at the bit to be back. He was back checking on this play. Left his feet to try and slide and block the pass or the shot or whatever, and he ends up running into Thompson, but not before Bobby McMahon would put it away. Domi and Mitch Marner on the assists on that one. Tie game again. That's 8-10. Caps, though, less than 90 seconds later, as they are wont to do. Nick Dowd, Rasmus Sandin, and Mangiapane on the assists on that one. So the fourth line, although Mangiapane, I don't know what he was doing there. It might have been a late change, but fourth line, I think, bailed them out on this game, which, again, part of the pattern, part of stuff that I'm not seeing. I do promise that I'm getting to a point here. Third period, Caps took over. Caps would get a power play finally and capitalize on it. Tom Wilson, his 14th. Chychrun and Strome with the assists on that one. Let's see if we can call up the replay real fast. And while we're doing that, power play did not have a bad week. That's one of the things that I'm going to put in the like column this time around. Okay, so finally got the replay here. So Carlson starts it as he usually does behind the net. Great recover. And then back to the point. Chychrun throws it, and it goes off of Wilson, who's playing the bumper position. And as I said before, he's taken TJ Oshie lessons and learning very well from Sensei TJ, very, very well. So he's got the tip in after Strome collected it from behind the net, threw it to Chychrun, and great kind of dirty goal for the power play, which you always love to see. Well, I do anyway, even though I don't like making a mess. And then, of course, what would be a Toronto game without an Alex Ovechkin goal? I don't care if it was an empty net. A lot of people in Toronto soiling their pants over the fact that it was an empty net goal. Well, guess what? Gretzky had almost as many in his career. So shut up. Quit your crying. Wash your hanky. Do something. Dubois clears it. Protas heads up play to find Ovechkin all alone in just before he left the neutral zone to bury it at 16:37, and a pretty good game all around. Okay, so again, I think the fourth line bailed them out on this one. And the reason I say that is not just because they scored. And yes, I get this was Ovechkin's first game back, so you're not going to see him get a ton of ice time, although he managed almost 15 minutes. But yeah, the leader in ice time, if you can believe that, for the forwards was Connor McMichael. Now, let's see about but Taylor Radish, 14 minutes. Just a little less, 2 seconds less than Alexei Protas, who's supposed to be on the top line. Nick Dowd, 15 minutes, almost 16 minutes. Wow. A Duhaime, 15 minutes. I get you want to spread out the ice time, and that's great on Spencer. But again, I think the fourth line bailed these guys out. I really do. Because they set the tone for shutting down the middle, clogging up the middle and not letting Toronto get too many chances. And the high danger chances they did get, Thompson was there. So it's an over-reliance, starting to over-rely a bit on the fourth line and the goalies. And that's never a good combination. That's one thing that I've noticed, at least this week, that does not bode well, is not a good habit, is something they need to work on. So make of that what you will. So thus endeth that game. We move on to the most recent game, which was back on Sunday again. Another 5 o'clock game. I want to strangle the damn schedule maker here. This is ridiculous. Another back-to-back. The fourth one this month. Okay, I lied. I'm going to go on a rant here. I checked on the scheduling of some of the division rivals, New Jersey and Carolina. Neither one of them have 4 back-to-back games in 1 month. In fact, New Jersey only has at most 2 in 1 month because they got gifted that stupid overseas series in Prague. I'm sorry. I'm not one of these tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists that say the league is out to screw the Caps. But that's not a good look. When one team gets 4 back-to-backs in 1 month, in the span of, and not even 1 full month, because it was 6th and 7th this month, 16th and 17th, 22nd and 23rd, and 28th and 29th. So 3 weeks, 3 back-to-backs. 1 back-to-back a week, basically. Bunch of Bull Durham, if you ask me, but I don't work for the league, and I'm not Nostradamus. I'm just not paid to do so on a podcast. All right, rant over for that. Caps, let's just say we're not prepared to play for this game. I'm not going to point fingers, but it's yet another thing that I think they need to work on. To me, after this game, it was glaringly obvious their game-to-game management. And yes, I know you on the other side of the speakers, the earbuds, what have you. You're probably yelling at whatever listening apparatus that you're listening through, ready to throw something. What the hell are you talking about, Blue Liner? I get it. 4 back-to-backs. I know. I just said it. But the game-to-game management needs to improve. Or, well, it wasn't very good this week. I'll put it that way. Because so third period against Boston, they collapsed. At least, they were in it until midway through the third period. This game, they were never in it. Not at all. All right, let's get rid of the get the goal rundown. Alex DeBrincat, 319. Sherratt Mortsider on the assists for that one. Patrick Kane, Wings get a power play. Detroit Red Wings, that is, get a power play. Who just fired their coach, by the way. And Spencer Carberry, as he is fond of doing, was waving the red flag saying, hey, watch for the new coach bump. I don't know if anybody listened, but he was right. Patrick Kane gets a 6 on the power play. Former Cap Gustafson and Lucas Raymond on the assist for that one, and Wings never really looked back after this. Ovechkin would bring them within 1 with a nice snapper from the office. Chychrun and McMichael on the assist for that one. But DeBrincat would put them up by 2 again. This would be the game winner, 12:35. And then less than 2 minutes later, Lucas Raymond put them up got the last goal for them. Detroit, one of the faster teams in the league. This is what I was talking about earlier. Caps have a little bit of problems still handling the speed element. And that kind of bugs me. Because that, at least in the earlier rounds, can be a potential of the playoffs. That is, can be a potential problem. That kind of bothers me. I'm pretty sure the coaching staff has noticed that and is working on some sort of solution. But I still notice that the Caps still have some sort of problem with teams that have an abundance of speed on them. So I mean, the idea was to get younger and faster. We definitely got younger. I don't know that they've gotten all that much faster. So I don't know, but it is worth pointing out, I think. Again, you can argue with me, probably think I'm crazy. That's fine. But the Wings skated circles around this team. And yes, you can say, oh, of course they will. It was another crappy back-to-back, the fourth one of the month. I get that. But I wouldn't have a problem with them losing the back-to-back if they didn't look so fucking awful doing it. All right. I wouldn't have this much of a problem. Now, to their credit, they made it respectable with Nick Dowd. Nick Dowd, fourth line magic. Again, Radish and Duhaime on the assist, 10-27 of the third. Brings them back to within 2, makes the scoreboard look halfway decent anyway. Over-reliance on the fourth line. And the reason I say that is because the very next shift after this goal, they were out there. And Alan May pointed it out too. Wow. I marked this day on a calendar. Alan May and I making the same point. But he pointed it out that they were gassed because they had just spent the shift before creating and capitalizing on the scoring chance. And they were out there not less than a minute later trying to check off the Red Wings attack. Little over-reliance there on the fourth line. Again, not to beat that to death. Well, let's check out the time on ice. Ovechkin, 2022. Great to see. He definitely is getting his legs back, for sure. Strome, 2023. But then you go down the line. Mangiapane, 8 minutes. Brad Ricucci mentioned this in True Caps Fans Room. Spencer doesn't seem to trust his third line a whole lot. And that's one of the reasons why the fourth line ends up bearing extra ice time that they probably shouldn't be. Duhaime, 10:52. Okay, so the numbers don't bear it out. 12:54 for Dowd. All right, the numbers don't bear it out. But why is the fourth line out there again after they just scored? Okay, shouldn't you be double shifting even at that point, or spreading out the ice time? Why is the ice time all kind of whopper-jawed in this game when it was so evenly spread out in the Toronto game and all the other games before? I don't know. I think Spencer recognized. I don't want to be sounding like I'm down on him. He has done a magnificent job managing the roster. Let's get that straight. Everything was out of whack this game. Everything was just off, as was written in an article by Mr. Bartechko for the Hockey News, co-covering the Caps with Sammy Silver, who, by the way, has the That's DC Hockey podcast. Shameless plug. Be sure to catch that on YouTube. Yeah, this was just all kinds of bad, all kinds of wrong going on here. I'm not going to excuse them. I am not going to excuse them for the back-to-back. I'm not going to excuse them for whatever conditions might have been there that led them to not play well, to not be prepared to play. Lose the game right off? Probably one other game this season where they did that. So, again, to their credit. But to me, it is something of it's something that's cropped up as part of a pattern. And it's game-to-game management. It's puck management. It's being ready for a team. And again, that's what the regular season is for. I've said it before. Regular season is for weeding out bad habits. This is a bad habit they need to weed out. I'm confident they will. So my finger is nowhere near the panic button. Your fingers are probably pointed at me, not the ring fingers, but you're cursing at me. I get it. I'm not down on this team. I'm just pointing out bad habits that need to be weeded out like really bad dandelions right the F now. So, fourth line bails them out at both ends of the ice. Charlie didn't have any much chance on any of these goals. Let's see. What was his save percentage for this game? Wings had 27 shots, so he got 23 of them. Not horrible. Not awful. Not 852. Not bad. Not horrible. I don't know. I'm not down on the goalies. I'm not down on anything other than these bad habits that have cropped up. So that's my problem with this team. I think they're aware of it. They will fix it. Is another roster tweak in order? Well, let's see. They've already sent down LaPierre back to Hershey. A few words about that. I think this is the right decision. The coaching staff, I think, figured, okay, after the Eller trade, all right, get him some on-ice, on-the-job training and watch the master, see how it's done, see how playing middle-tier center minutes is done. And it still wasn't quite clicking. And, maybe some more time at AHL speed is what, Hendricks needs right now. And I don't have a big problem with that. This will be, at the very least by my count, the third time he's been sent back down, if you count his first stint. But everybody's referencing Connor McMichael, everybody is right. He needed some extra time, and sometimes you just need to go down a level and kind of gather your shit together and just figure it out. And then you come up, and part of it might be he just needs the right partners on ice. I don't know if Eller is it. I don't know if Mangiapane's it. I think he needs. This isn't always a good thing, but I think LaPierre has a chance to excel if he's got the right line mate. So I think that may be part of it. They might be still figuring out who he has some chemistry with. I was kind of hoping he and Vrana would develop some chemistry, but they didn't have much of a chance to gel while he was still up. So, and I know I was saying that I wasn't down on the power play. Well, the power play in this game was a big fat pile of no can do, 3 chances and nothing. I don't even know how many shots they got. The Dowd goal was probably the only high danger chance that I could remember in this game. Something was very, very off. Now if you go by the shots on goal, they did ramp it up. But again, too little, too late. What are we saying? 60-minute game. 60-minute game. We've been preaching that for 2-3 years now, and it's still a problem. Look, and everybody, you're screaming yes back to back. I hear you. I can literally hear you. I know. The team isn't using this as an excuse. Why should the fans? Why should the talking heads? Right? I get that it's a fact. I get that it's hard to turn around from. You partied the night before. You did something you shouldn't have the night before, and then you got to wake up 6 hours later and go to work. Sometimes you don't have it to go, even after 10 cups of Java. I get it. But, sometimes, and thank God it's still the regular season. If this were the playoffs, this team would be in trouble. I'll tell you that right now. But thank God it's still the regular season. They can work this shit out. All right? But, 12 shots on goal in the whole third period. So it took them 6, 9, 12, exponential number. So it took them 40 minutes to finally wake the F up. But, just game-to-game management is their consistency has eroded. We see them usually when they get behind, we see them answer fairly quickly. That wasn't there. There was no jump in their legs this game at all. And that, I'm sorry, that bothered me a bit. Now, is that going to come, pardon me, is that going to come back? Probably will. But I just want to say, I just wanted to mention that because I'm sorry, as a Caps fan, it bothers me. Does it mean they all of a sudden suck? Does it mean they're going to fall out of the playoffs? No. I'm not panicking. All I'm doing is pointing out a trend that I'm seeing and not liking. Now, if it continues, then yes, something maybe a little more drastic will have to be done. Maybe. But for now, they have this matinee game today staring them in the face, literally 3 hours from now, at home against Boston again. And then the rest of the week, Thursday the 2nd, 7 o'clock puck drop back at Cap 1 against the Minnesota Wild. The first game against them, they're a bit of a wagon this year. And then Saturday the 4th, another matinee, noon again, go figure, against the very much struggling New York Rangers, who hopefully will not have figured it out by then, but they have been all kinds of bad for a while now. They're talking about firing the coach. They ought to be talking about firing the GM. They really need to fire the owner, and they really need to blow it up and get rid of about 2/3 of that roster. But again, I'm not paid to manage that team. I love, if ever I saw a franchise that was ensconced in flames and is imploding really, really badly and deserved it, it's that team. I'm sorry. It's so them. That rounds out that week. Yours truly, Mrs. Blue Liner, C4, Sakroom, the Marcus Clarent, Marcus Lemley, and Jared Kenney and I will all be at the Teddy Bear Toss game in Hershey on the 5th. And then they have games against Buffalo, Vancouver, Montreal, Nashville, the second week of January. Ho, another back-to-back. What a frickin' surprise. A lot of middling teams there, some that are really struggling. Maybe a chance to get their game back, try a few things. This is going to be, and something else. I don't want to make built-in excuses for the team, but this time of year is usually when the Caps go into their regular season nosedive a little bit, when they go into something of a swoon and just lose a lot of games they should win. That's why I pointed out the fact that this team is playing, over the course of next week, a lot of middling to bad teams. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how they approach it. If you're thinking that these are automatic W's, don't. They will not be. I guarantee them. Nor do I expect them to be 8-1 wins either. But keep your eye on them. It'll be very interesting. Caps have not exactly had it great, although they're not a bad team by any stretch, but easily the last 2-3 weeks, this whole month has easily been, well, not their greatest by far. So kind of going to be interesting to see how they respond. So yeah, that's it, and that's really all I wanted to say. And we're rapid fire again. I'm not really sure. Like I said, I will be out of town most of the day on Sunday, so I'm not really sure when we're going to record again. I like to keep up week to week, but and I promise I will have a first-person view of the teddy bear toss. Everybody loves that. I promise I'll have that, but might have to do a simulcast. I'm tossing that idea around. So Robbie, if you're listening, it just came to me. If you're up for it, we might have to do that. I'm not sure, but we will cover the first week of 2025. Okay, so if you've stuck with me this far, thanks for not trashing the however it is you listen to this podcast. Look, again, I want to make it very clear. I'm not down on this team. All I'm doing is pointing out stuff that I'm seeing that I don't like, that has usually led to, if not handled properly, has usually led to, well, teams turning into dumpster fires, like the New York Rangers. Are the Caps there yet? Not even a third of the way. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but it has the potential to happen if they're not looked at. This coaching staff has done everything it can to make sure that they're prepared game to game. I'm just seeing a lot of things that they're doing, a few things that they're doing at least, that are more than a little off. Now, again, regular season is the time to work that stuff out. Great. I think they will. I don't think it'll be a big problem in the long term, and it might be premature, I get this, but you're going to want, I always look towards the playoffs. We're not even 41 games in. We're not halfway there. Pardon me. And it's way too premature to even be looking that far. But I have found that if you don't work out these bad habits, and they're still cropping up too many times in March, then you're going to see them again in April, and you're not going to get past April. If you're in playoff mode, you're clicking and you're playing well, and you're really in playoff mode, and everything is syncing up really well in, say, February, there's a good chance that when you sustain that, you will be playing in April, late April and May, and perhaps even June. That's the point I'm trying to make. You can laugh at me, you can curse at me all you want. I don't happen to have all the answers. I'm just making a point here. You think I'm full of crap? I invite you to come on this show and tell me I'm full of it. I will welcome it. We love having Caps fans give their opinions. That hasn't changed. So I would love for you out there listening, wherever you're from, okay, state of Maryland, Commonwealth of Virginia, District of Columbia, wherever you may be, come on the show with me. Tell me what's happening. Tell me what you see. And you know what? You're probably more right than I am. So let's hear you. That's what I want to see. It's what I want to see from you guys out there in 2025. All right? I want to see and hear more of you. Come on the show with me. Talk to us. Tell us all about it. Tell us about the games. Tell us what you want to, and tell us a little bit about yourselves. We want to get to know you. All right? Don't be strangers. Okay, so for this ridiculously rapid-fire final edition of 2024, and yes, I will say the obligatory see you next year, this is the Blue Liner on Point signing off and reminding you that, well, there's this guy I knew that had himself got himself a really, really, really bad hernia. In fact, I heard about it earlier this morning. And doctor said, wow, what really bad timing. I mean, how did that happen? And the guy was like, well, I don't know what to tell you, but it is around the time the ball drops. Hallelujah, and let's go Caps.
This has been another episode of the Power Play Point Podcast. All episodes are available from Apple Podcasts, the Podbean app, blueliner77.podbean.com, and now available from Stitcher. Music by Joe McAllister, voiceover by Jeffrey Conkle.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Power Play Point Podcast. Thanks for listening.